But it's the duty, what you are speaking, you should know what you're speaking, that's important. And every Muslim knows the basics of Islam.
Brother Zakir, are you saying that when you started, you were an absolute total layman with no Islamic scholar background?
And even now I'm a layman.
I see.
Now also I consider myself to be a layman.
That is called humility, sir.
Actually, I was inspired by Sheikh Ahmed Deedat.
Yes.
And when I saw Sheikh Ahmed Deedat speaking, I started repeating what I heard from him. And I saw that people started appreciating coming closer to Islam. So that's how being inspired by him when I was in the second year of my medical college. He changed my life from a doctor of a body to doctor of soul. And Sheikh Ahmed Deedat himself, he did not go to any Islamic school per se. He mainly read books, and he got a new field, a new dimension of dawah, especially in Christianity. I went a step further. He told me, son, you should study other religions. So besides Christianity, Judaism and Islam, I studied Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism, and that's how, mashallah.
So a message that you would be giving to the young people of this country would be, look here guys, you have souls. Feed those souls. Let these souls grow. Find inner peace.
Correct.
And then spread the message amongst yourselves so that life becomes more meaningful.
Correct.
And all of them, therefore, would be da'is unto each other.
That's right. Da'is unto Islam. When you meet a Muslim, you do Islam, improving in certain aspects he doesn't know. When you meet a non-Muslim, you do da'wah, conveying the message of Islam. So it's both together simultaneously.
Well, you make it sound so simple and lovely.
It is simple. See, we make life difficult for ourselves. We have a misconception that Quran was only revealed for the alims. The Quran says it was revealed for the whole of humankind. Allah says in Surah Qamar, chapter number 54, verse number 17, 22, 32, 40. وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. We have made the Quran easy for you to understand. Which of you shall not receive admonition? So Allah says the Quran is easy. So if you don't understand Arabic as a language, you read it in the language you understand the best. If you know English, read in English. If you know Maldivian language, read Maldivian language. And read the translation, and whatever you do, you convey, inshallah, Allah will help you to gain more and more knowledge.
Yeah, you have such a nice way of saying this. Sometimes in practice, it's so difficult because there are so many barriers to this happening. Now, there are always people who might come and tell us that, look here, don't do this. You might do it wrong. Don't do this. This is a sharp knife. Don't handle it. What you're saying is, no, go out there and risk it.
What I'm saying that before going, if you do a little bit of homework,
yes,
not that you have to be a scholar, but a person says, okay, only if I have knowledge of maybe 1,000 books, I'll start. No. Even if you have knowledge of one sentence, you go out and spread that sentence. The moment you spread that sentence, Allah gives you a few sentences more, then pages, then books will come. But we feel that first let us memorize maybe 100 books. That's not required. Because Allah is the one to help you. And it is human to err. We human beings should not claim that we know everything. It is human to err. So that is the reason whenever you give an answer, if you back it up with proof from the Quran or the Sahih Hadith, that is the best. So the difference in me is that I always give references from the Quran. It is not my opinion, it is the opinion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran or the sayings of the Prophet.
But then sometimes you have these other problems coming in. You know, I mean, in Islam, there are various mazhabs, various ways of thinking, various schools of thought, different outlooks on Islam. So if you meet a guy around a street corner, one man might belong to one mazhab, another man might belong to this school of thought. How do you deal with those differences?
See, we have to follow the madhab of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Every Muslim says the Shahada, there is no God but Allah, and Prophet Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. In this context, all these great Aimmas that we have, Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, Imam Shafi, Imam Ibn Hanbal, may Allah be pleased with them all. They were great scholars. We love them, we respect them. But all these Aimmas, they said, if you find any of my fatwa which goes against Allah and Rasul, throw my fatwa on the wall. So these scholars did not come to divide Islam. They came for people to understand Islam better. And Allah says in the Quran in Surah Al-Imran, chapter number 3, verse number 103, وَاتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Hold to the rope of Allah strongly and be not divided. Allah says in the Quran in Surah Anam chapter 6, verse number 159, O Prophet, if anyone divides the religion of Islam, makes sects in the religion of Islam, you have nothing to do with him. Allah will look after the affairs on the day of judgment. So making sects and dividing Islam is haram. What was the beloved Prophet? What was he? Was he Hanafi? Was he Shafi? Was he Maliki? Was he Salafi? Jamaat Islami? He was a Muslim. So all these scholars came for people to understand Islam better. Allah says in the Quran in Surah Nisa chapter 4 verse 59, Atiullah, Atiur Rasul, obey Allah and obey the Messenger. And those who have got the knowledge, Ulil Amr, those who have been given the knowledge to command. So we have to believe in Allah and the Messenger and the scholars. But the verse does not end, that continues. But if they differ, if these people with knowledge differ, go back to Allah and Rasul.
Oh, I see.
So most of the scholars, most of these various groups, 95% is the same. 98% is the same. Why do we fight? If we differ in this 2 or 3%, when they differ, you go and check with Quran, Sahih Hadith, which is more closer, and you follow it. And it is human to her. Therefore, I say, what Dr. Zakir Naik says in Islam is zero. Don't look at me. Don't follow me. Therefore, I give references. Like when you ask something, I said, Surah Nisa, chapter 4, verse 59 says, Atiullah, Atiur Rasul. Obey Allah and obey the Messenger. Dr. Zakir Naik doesn't say. What Dr. Zakir Naik says in Islam is zero. And if any of my statement goes against Allah and Rasul, throw my statement on the floor.
And just allow me to ask you, how do you do this? I mean, in this program, I have tried to quote just one verse, and then I get the numbers wrong. And you get it right 100% of the time. This surah, ayah number this. How do you do this?
It is mainly Allah's help. Allah says in Surah Al-Imran, again the verse and the ayah, all the secrets are there in the Quran. Allah says in Surah Al-Imran chapter 3 verse 160, if Allah helps you, none can overcome you. If Allah forsakes you, who is there then who can help you? So let the believers put their trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So first is help of Allah. Then Allah says in the Quran in Surah Ankabut chapter 29 verse 69, if you strive in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will open up your pathways. If you do jihad fi sabilillah. So second is hard work, is striving. If you strive, Allah promises to open up your pathways. If your pathways aren't open, don't blame Allah, blame yourself. That means you haven't strived enough.
I see.
So if you strive, Allah gives a promise, He will open up your pathways. If you don't get it right, you have to blame yourself, not Allah, because Allah gives a promise.